been wondering lately about why all the hate thrown at Dave Ramsey. Why the focus on Dave? There's other financial celebrities like Warren Buffett, Jim Cramer, Suze Orman, Robert Kiyosaki. There are TikTok videos disliking Dave. There are YouTube videos. There's blog posts. There's all kinds of things out there very critical of Dave right now. Do a quick search and you'll see what I'm talking about. The pitch got so loud that the Wall Street Journal recently wrote an article in February of 24 about Dave. The headline of this Wall Street Journal articles is as follows. Dave Ramsey tells millions what to do with their money. People under 40 say he's wrong. Robert Kiyosaki, another financial celebrity, has videos very critical of him. You've probably heard about his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. To help people wade through all the negativity, in this series of videos, I'm going to boil down what all the criticism is about and determine whether there's some validity to it or not. For good contrast, I'm going to compare Dave Ramsey and some of his teachings and background to that of Robert Kiyosaki, in addition to the book, The Millionaire Next Door, since it has had such an influence on people's finances over the last several decades. First, real quick, who is Dave Ramsey? What is he about? What's his style? Who's his audience? And is he effective? Dave created a mini empire that consists of classes, books, radio programs, videos, all kinds of online resources, YouTube channel. Primarily, his message is aimed at those that struggle to get ahead. Maybe they have too much debt or no savings, and they just don't know basic financial literacy. Dave launched his company after going through bankruptcy and learning things the hard way. The lessons he learned, he built a company around. His philosophy is quite simple. Avoid debt, save for what you want, invest, and be generous. It's a simple message, but does it work? For most people who follow it, it does. Is he perfect? Not always, and I'll get into some of that in a little bit. Has he helped his audience? Yes. He's literally helped millions get out of financial difficulty or avoid it, probably more than any other company or person alive today. Criticize him? You might, but keep in mind, no one has helped more people than Dave in the last couple decades. Full disclosure, he has helped me, and I am grateful for the lessons that I learned from Dave. In addition, I taught his class through a church probably 35 times to over a couple thousand people. Do I love him? Do I hate him? What I will tell you is I admire his accomplishments and I admire what he's done to help people. I'm not a devoted Dave Ramsey fan. There are those out there that just hang on every word that he says. That's not me. I like to learn from all kinds of resources out there. I don't agree with all his tactics, all his communication styles. I'll get into those in a second. What is Dave's style? Well, he's both educator and entertainer. He's both kind and kind of bullyish at some times. He's in your face. He's informative. Some of the things he researches really well. He's opinionated. He's got a strong personality. He's kind of like that smart but annoying uncle that tells you he loves you while he smacks you upside the head for doing something stupid. That's kind of Dave's shtick. What do financial planners say about Dave? Well, of the videos that I have watched, most of them respect Dave, but they have some fair criticisms. Of the several videos that I watched, I boiled down their criticisms to 2 or 3 or 4 things. Number 1, they don't always favor a blanket approach to personal finances. Cookie cutters aren't good for every situation. Secondly, Dave's recommendation on how to build a portfolio is very simplistic, and a lot of financial planners wouldn't agree with his basic 4 corners of building a portfolio. Third, financial planners don't agree with his assumption on investments always being 12%, and they don't like Dave's assumption that a stock portfolio can always earn 12% consistent over time. They would argue that a well-designed investment portfolio should use more modest investment return assumptions. One thing that they criticize is a 12% expected rate of return on a stock portfolio over the long term for the investor. Most professionally designed investment portfolios use lower assumptions for rate of return. Secondly, when you enter retirement or the phase for which you're pulling income from the investments, Dave would assume an 8% payout rate. So, for example, if you had saved and invested and you have $1 million pool and it's earning 12%, Dave would say that you could safely pull off 8%, leaving 4% behind for growth to offset inflation. A 12% growth and an 8% income rate, most financial planners are very critical of these 2 assumptions, and I think rightly so. That's my opinion. Dave provides a simplified approach to easily communicate so that his large population can easily understand concepts and put them into practice. Budget, save for emergencies, get rid of bad debt, avoid debt, save and invest. That's Dave's essential message, and most of his communication is around that. Keep it simple so that people stay focused. When people are provided lots of exceptions in a large audience setting, sometimes the message isn't effective. That's Dave's style. Is the financial planner's criticism correct? Yes, I think it's accurate. But like I said, he provides a simplified approach so it will work for a lot of people. So who else complains about Dave Ramsey? Millennials do. Gen Xers and Yers. They don't like Dave's in-your-face style. Is that frugality criticism valid? Well, I think it is to some degree, but it depends on the person. Dave says live like no one else for a season so that you can live like no one else in the future. So that self-imposed extreme frugality works for a lot of people. Some don't. We did it for a season, and for a season we didn't when we were getting out of debt. For a while, we drove very old cars. I had a rusty old Corolla. We made our own laundry detergent, and we tried to keep our grocery bill down. But we still avoid some niceties. We avoided vacations for 7 years, but eventually it paid off. Sometimes you have to live very frugally to get ahead, but not everybody has to go that path. A lot of millennials and Gen Xers and Gen Yers aren't willing to do without some of the niceties. That's okay. That's their choice. Other criticisms. Dave has an outstanding class action lawsuit from an affiliate he used to recommend. I'll get into more detail about that in a future video. He has a few other lawsuits that one of them was thrown out of court, and another one, it seems that they settled. Those were from employees and relate to his work environment. So what don't I like about Dave Ramsey personally? Well, on occasion, in his radio program, he has called someone dumb or an idiot, but I don't believe in name calling. I prefer to think that people are good. Sometimes they just do dumb things. I don't label. I don't demean. That's my style. His style can be a little bit combative, a little bit old school. I don't personally like that. It doesn't appeal to me. But some people need that kind of wake-up call to make them think and make them realize, to make them feel like their situation requires a little bit more urgency. I take a different approach in my coaching practice of looking at mindsets and approaching people with respect, intellect, not shaming, not using guilt, not making people feel bad for a mistake they made. So in contrast, how does Dave compare to Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books? Robert takes a totally different approach. He's less about personal finances, almost to a fault. He emphasizes creating multiple income streams. He thinks that debt's okay. Robert hates Dave's philosophy of managing household income, but not everyone is of that entrepreneurial mindset like Robert is, that he advocates by investing in real estate or owning your own business. But you can learn a lot from Robert. In the next video, I'll provide more detail about Robert. Besides Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki, in contrast, I think it's helpful to mention another resource. Not necessarily a person, but a book, The Millionaire Next Door. It's been around for about 40 years, and it's been very influential to people's personal finances. Why do I like The Millionaire Next Door book? Because it's about mindsets. The mindsets of millionaires, people that might live right next to you, but you are not aware that they're a millionaire because they don't drive luxury automobiles or that they don't have a lot of luxuries. There you have it, a general overview of these three financial educators. But remember, they aren't financial planners. They're not investment professionals. They're not outright experts either. But millions of people listen to these celebrities. Millions of people read their books, and we can all learn something from these resources. My style is that I feel like that no one is the be-all, end-all for financial information. I can learn something from all of them. I try just to be discerning of the truth when I watch or listen or read from one of these financial celebrities. If you like this video, please subscribe and like below. In a future video, I'm going to go into more detail comparing Dave Ramsey to Robert Kiyosaki to the book The Millionaire Next Door. Thank you for watching.